I got a declaration for the year 2025 that I'm going to drop on you right now.
Let's hear it.
Fore-play, presented by Barstool Sports. We are back. It's myself and Trent Ryan. We just got a text message from Frank Borelli. Frankie is basically playing in the Ryder Cup right now. I don't know if you guys saw some of these stories that he posted, but some event going on. The Ryder Cup is out there at Bethpage Black. He's playing in it. He's got some dinner going on. So right now we're going to kind of kick things off with just myself and Mr. Trent Ryan.
You cut out there, but I'm going to maybe have some issues with my internet because I'm at home. I'm no longer in a hotel where you would think, hey, this guy's got perfect internet. He's lived there for a year. He's always had good internet, but for some reason it's not working. So I'm currently connected to my phone. I'm going to do my best. It's great to be here. But yeah, my internet stinks today and I don't know why. It says it's full and it's just not working. So if I cut in and out, I apologize to the listeners. I'm sure Alex Bush will clean it up anyway, but I am here. I've got bells on. I'm excited to talk some golf.
How is your listening level with me? Is there like a big delay right now, Trent, or can you hear me?
No, you sound great and you look great. So I think we're going to be okay.
Okay. All right. I think we found ourselves a little bit of a groove here. So yeah, we got people moving, jiving. I'm going to be when this this episode that you're listening to right now airs, I will be in Montreal, barring some tragedy occurring, in which case, RIP to me, and I'm talking to you from the grave. If my plane from Phoenix to Montreal just didn't make it, some mechanical failure, maybe a weather issue, who knows? Hopefully, again, none of that occurred. And if none of that occurred, then I'm in Montreal right now, bombing around Royal Montreal for the first time, soaking everything up. I got the hat, I got the merchandise, which people should check out. But I've been watching, Trent, this coverage here. I've been watching live from all week long. Brandl's getting into it. They're talking about Adam Scott and Hideki Matsuyama and their records in this thing. So I'm starting to get pretty juiced up for the team competition. Our poor guy, Johnson Wagner, and I don't know if you've witnessed much of this, but he puts himself out there. It started earlier this year where, he's doing a great job. He's got the mustache. I played golf with him in this Peter Millar event down at Pinehurst in April, and he's the man. Couldn't love this guy more. And he's somehow kind of blended, creator golf with like live from that I kind of think happened by accident, where they put him in these positions live on TV. And he's a 3-time PGA Tour winner. He's a great player, but they put him in these positions live on TV where he tries to execute shots that were hit that day in the tournament or have been hit historically that people remember. And he's just got the chip and yips on TV. And at the beginning of the year, he was doing it a few times. And then he's had some big moments. He's had some moments of redemption. He hit the Bryson shot at Pinehurst. Everybody went crazy, almost hold the damn thing. But they got him out there. I was watching it today. And he sizes up. He goes, this is the only spot on the entire golf course where there's tightly mown chipping. Everything else is just rough. So if you miss over here on this side of this par 5, and he just flubbed the shit out of the chip. And Brandel, poor Brandel, is in tears laughing at this guy trying to chip. And I'm just enjoying it, man. I'm enjoying the hell out of getting geared up for this President's Cup, Trent.
I saw him a couple days ago now. He was knee deep in some pond in Montreal, like hitting a ball out of the water. Like, yeah, he goes where he needs to go to, mimic the shots that he is mimicking. And he knows no bounds on, like, he'll go anywhere. And I love that about him. He'll take that mustache, he'll roll up his pant legs, and he'll get into the water and just be like, this is the shot that they might have at some point, and I'm going to show you what it could be like. It is tough. It's a little bit like our own Frankie Borelli, where when you have, the yips or whatever you want to call it, and you're constantly on camera, you're going to get exposed and people are going to laugh at you. Brandel's going to be in the booth just like, that guy just doesn't have it. So I commend Johnson Wagner on all the work that he has done, because he really has brought a different sort of thing to those broadcasts. And it's really great. He hit the Xander shot. He hit the Bryson shot, like you alluded to. It's just a cool little wrinkle, and they struck gold with him because he does such a good job. He talks you through the shot, and sometimes he executes and sometimes he flubs a chip. You don't know what you're going to get, and that's a huge part of the appeal.
It is, man. They had me on pins and needles at like noon in my apartment here in Scottsdale when they were sizing up this shot, and I know he's had issues on TV, and he just got ready, and you could feel the silence was deafening from the guys on set, from me and my place, and he just got ready to hit that chip. You kind of were like, okay, I hope he hits a good one, but man, he could hit a horrible one. He just flubbed it, and I love that guy. I know I'm going to see him at the hotel bar. At these events, there's always the hotel bar. We kind of were there at the Creator Classic a little bit. You had all the creators. You got all the Colin Morikawa was coming through with his dog. Rory was coming through. Shane Lowry, all the agents, the swing coaches. Everybody kind of finds their way. It's a traveling fucking circus out there in the PGA Tour. You think golf is like these upstanding folks who, high society and people look up to, and they're very marketable, and all that's great. But just like everything else, it's a traveling circus out there. You see all the same guys at the bar. People are buying shots, the whole deal. And Johnson likes to have a beer too. So I cannot wait to see him at the bar and go through, because you said it exactly right. Frankie was famously Frankie Butterknives. I've had the serious driver yips, which still trying to get over, where you can hit every drive. Kevin Kisner said the same thing about the Masters this year, or maybe last year. It's like you can hit every drive dead straight in the range. You go stand on that first tee, your whole body changes, and next thing you know, you duck low hook one, or you super block one off the planet, and it fucking sucks. There's nowhere to hide in the game of golf. There's nowhere to hide. There's no clock. Like we've said, you can't just run the clock out. Can't pass it to a teammate. It's like the game of golf requires you to stand up and execute the shot, and you only have 45 seconds to hit it. So you know it's your turn. You got to do it. You're panicking. You're freaking out. And he's up there on TV doing it. So I just love it. This episode is presented by our great friends at Chevy. We are talking Chevy.com/Traverse, because this vehicle is just a marvel of man, of the great American company. It's an American week, American President's Cup team, American dominance, 12-1 all time when it comes to the President's Cup, and American dominance with the bow tie when it comes to creating vehicles like the Chevy Traverse. This thing, 3 rows of seating. It's got great technology. They've elevated the tech all the way up to the 17.7-inch diagonal color touch screen. It's among the best. It is the best among all the 3-row SUVs. We love the Traverse, Trent.
We do. And think how lucky you are, how lucky we are as consumers, where you can just go to Chevy.com, customize this thing, get it however you want. Before the internet, what did you do? Did you have to go to a car lot and just say, oh, I want this? And they're like, well, we got that. And then you just take whatever they have on the lot, or you wait months until they get what you want. Now, all I'm saying is we're just very lucky to be able to go on the internet, go on Chevy.com, customize your Traverse, get all the trims, get all the colors, get everything you like, and then boom, it's yours. I think we're very lucky, and nobody does it better than Chevy.
That's all you got to do is go to Chevy.com/Traverse. It's that easy. You don't have to leave anything behind, because the redesigned Traverse offers best-in-class max cargo volume and seating for up to 8 passengers, not to mention the RS comes standard with the one-touch automatic second row and power folding third row. So tech, Traverse, awesome. Head over to Chevy.com/Traverse to build your own and to learn more. Chevrolet, together, let's drive. I'm getting pumped for this President's Cup. Old Montreal is supposed to be sweet. So we got a couple dinner reservations set up. If anybody's got any recommendations, please hit me up. Old Montreal, it's a cool city, classic city. People are telling me it's kind of feels like an old, I think Pilar said it's like an older, more historic feeling version of Toronto. And it feels a little bit more like a European city than Toronto. And I love Toronto. Toronto's a really fun time. Canadians, it's a very diverse city. So I'm pretty fired up to get to Montreal. And I think you're probably in the same boat as I am, Trent. But I'm rooting for a close. I'm USA all the way. I got the shirt. I got the flag shirt on, which is one of our all-time sellers. But I am rooting for a close event up here in Canada.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't want it to be a blowout. As much as we don't want to compare it to the Ryder Cup, and we never, that's not the right way to look at this. Like the Ryder Cup, I don't want the Europeans to score a single point. I really don't want them to have any chance at winning. But this international team, it's lower stakes. I think we can say that. I think that's fine to say. And I want it to be competitive because I want to see the fire from everybody. I want to see Scotty Scheffler fist pumping. I want to see Tom Kim fist pumping again. I want to see Minwoo Lee out there losing his mind. Like if you have a complete blowout on either side, you're just not going to get the moments from either team. And I don't think anybody wants that. That's certainly not going to build up the allure of the President's Cup. And yeah, I want it to be close. I very much want Team USA to win. I want us to continue to dominate in every respect, whether it be the Ryder Cup, whether it be the President's Cup, whether it not even be about golf, Team USA basketball. I want us to dominate every sport that's out there, but I do want it to be close. And maybe I'm getting swept up in it a little bit because I was watching the coverage too. But having guys like Min-Woo Lee and Tom Kim and some of these younger guys on the team, I think that team's going to have some fire. And I hope that they can put up a good enough fight where going into Sunday singles, there's, it's not like a statistical impossibility where it's like, all right, even if Team USA wins 2 points, they're going to win this thing. I like that locker room on the international side's probably got a little bit of fire, a little young blood. And long story short, I want it to be competitive because that's going to bring out the best moments for both teams.
Yeah, Brandel was on today, and I think they're announcing Wednesday, what they are announcing Wednesday, what the Thursday matchups will be. So we're recording before that's been done. So people already know what those are. But Brandel kind of got me tingling a little bit earlier. He's like, I'm sort of envisioning if you're the international team, you're Mike Weir, and you lead with Hideki Matsuyama and Tom Kim, and then Adam Scott and Min-Woo Lee. And then that got me going, man. That got me thinking like, oh, shit. So then you're telling me we've got those teams up against, let's say, like Scotty Scheffler, Colin Morikawa, Max Homa, Xander Schauffele, and you're like, oh, we got something cooking here. Like that is, let them cook, and we've got a team competition. And this is, you're right, it's obviously the JV team competition. It's not the Ryder Cup. We have to say that every time because people, it's almost like they don't want you to be able to enjoy the President's Cup because it's not the Ryder Cup. And we're trying to get people over the hump of that. And the thoughts of those matchups right out of the gate got me tingling a little bit. It got me feeling a little something.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to watch it regardless, but I just think I'll repeat it. It's just the young guys. That's how you build, the Ryder Cup it's got such a history and the Europeans have won a bunch and Team USA has won a bunch. And there's always the thing with Team Europe is there's that camaraderie. And we've been working at that at Team USA where it's like, how do we get all these superstar golfers to care every 2 years for a weekend about each other and each other's games and how to win for their country? For whatever reason, Team Europe has just had that forever. They've got better camaraderie. They don't have to force it. They play the right hype up clips in the locker room, all that stuff. And I think what the President's Cup needs is an identity. And an identity would be young stars on the international side because Team USA is Team USA. It's going to be juggernauts. In 20 years, it's going to be juggernauts. Whoever the top players in the world are in the United States, that's going to be like who they roll out there, and it's going to be fine. I was watching coverage today, and they said the international team has one top 15 player, and Team USA has 8. That ratio is probably going to be pretty similar going forward. Maybe it'll change in the future, maybe it won't. But the international team having young stars and interesting personalities, that'll at least give the event something. And if they say they go out there early morning, the first day out there, and they start scoring a bunch of points and the momentum heads their way, who knows? Who knows what can happen? So I want that to happen. Again, I'm still Team USA all the way, but please just make it interesting.
Yeah, me too. I'm in the exact same boat. I do think, I think the number that I heard earlier was that the 2 Canadians that are on the team that played in the last President's Cup are 0-8 or were 0-8. And the last one, Adam Scott himself came out and said, if we're going to win the President's Cup, I need to just like win all 5 of my matches. I need to stop not winning. And it did again. That kind of got me thinking like, with the new guys that don't have the negative scar tissue, the young players, like you're saying, and we talk about this all the time, every week in professional golf, week in and week out of any given event, that it's like anybody could beat anybody. If you went out on a Saturday afternoon and played a little money game with the 3rd ranked player in the world and the 24th ranked player in the world, it's not some huge favorite. It's like it's kind of a coin flip there on any given round, any given day. Yeah. And you factor in the crowds and, and the energy of being part of a team group, the locker room, who knows who gave what kind of speech that morning to rile people up. Like it's kind of anything. And so if you get those young guys in, like you're saying, they get a little bit of momentum, a couple putts or chips start to drop. There's a couple hole outs. The crowd gets into it early. The international team could have a shot. Having said all that, I am with you. It's like I got red, white, and blue on everywhere. I'm going to have it on all over that property. I'm going to be marching all over Royal Montreal. I've gotten into it with Canadian Twitter over hockey forever. Whether it's like the Blues and the Jets at times, and really anybody when it comes to like that's sort of the times when I've been against Canada is when it comes to hockey, and it's very easy to troll the Canadians when it comes to hockey. They haven't had a team in the NHL that has won the Stanley Cup since the Canadians, I think, in 1993. And so they're very bitter about that. You could get in there, you can get under their skin. It's a fun, good time. And so I'm going to bring some of that energy up there where I'm trying to be like, we're the big bad Americans. We win the Stanley Cup. We win the President's Cup. We're here to win. Thank you guys for having us. We're going to go eat your food. We're going to stomp all over your golf course. It's going to be delightful. But as a sports fan, it's hard for me not to root for a good, close event.
Who could Mike Weir and the international team bring into that locker room to give up a hype up speech that could make the difference? Is it Gretzky? Is it Bieber? Is it Drake? Is it who could they bring into that locker room who's going to give the speech that, say the international team wins and they're doing the post-game, post-round press conferences and they're like, they brought in X and he or she lit a fire under our asses, and I think that carried us the whole week. Who would that be?
Biz? Like it might be Biz. I just don't know that
it might be.
Wayne Gretzky is not a rah-rah speech guy. Connor McJesus is not really like a rah-rah speech guy, from my understanding. I don't
Greg
know
Norman?
that like Bieber's probably a little too Norman. Oh God, I would love if they went with a little Greg Norman.
If a social clip comes out from the
Yasser.
international team on Twitter and they say, we brought in the big guns to pump up this squad, and in walks Greg Norman. Fuck.
He's got the hat on, the Shark. I loved the Shark growing up. So it's been a tough kind of turnaround for me. Although I think the Shark is sort of in a better place best place that he's probably been in years now, since everything's kind of leveled off. But Kiz was telling me, I talked to Kiz on the phone for the first time in a while on Friday, and Kiz was telling me that one of the President's Cups that Bush and Clinton gave a co-speech, and he said it was awesome. He said like Bush was kind of just making fun of Clinton like the whole time, and Clinton was totally going with it and rolling with it. And he said it was the best pump-up speech he's ever been a part of.
I like that. A little back and forth between the two presidents. You can always feel like the American side can always call on Michael Jordan. Like if every time he walks through the door, it's like, oh, this is the greatest moment, because every athlete, regardless of what sport you play, has looked up to Michael Jordan at one point. So that always helps. Yeah, two presidents is good. I always like to know, or like the thought process behind who they pick is very important. And the international squad, it's going to be an important thing. Maybe they won't have anybody and it just won't be a thing. But I think if you pick the right person to give a pump-up speech before a big event, it can really carry you. So, Mike Weir, I know you've had a lot of pressure on you just throughout this whole process. Being the captain of the international team is enough pressure in itself. But if you're going to pick a hype-up guy, you got to pick the right one.
James Cameron's Canadian? I didn't know that.
He would just want to be like, check out Avatar 18 that I'm working on. Let's talk about this language that I'm making up for it.
I had kind of forgotten that both Ryan Gosling and Ryan Reynolds are both Canadian.
Ryan Reynolds, I think, would be a really good one. And Gosling. Gosling's great, too. You bring them in, a little bit of levity, but also, like, at the end, they're like, no, but really, let's win this on Canadian soil. You guys haven't won one in a million years. Imagine. Why not you guys? Why not you guys?
I think Ryan Reynolds would be a great one. He's the one with the Wrexham and all that stuff, right?
I believe so. Him and the guy from Always Sunny, whose name I always forget, but I believe those are the Wrexham. That's the Wrexham crew.
McElhaney. How do you say his name again? I can never say his name either.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. He'd be a good one. I agree. He'd be a good one. But yeah, I'm excited. Team USA, Canadians. I'm gonna get up there. I'm gonna be behind enemy lines, on foreign soil and kind of defending the flag. So pumped to get up there and see everybody. If you're out there, say hi. I'm gonna be wandering that place. I really don't have a lot to do, to be honest with you, Trent. Sometimes we go earlier in the week and we've got videos that we're trying to get out. We're trying to work the range and hope that basically Tiger Woods comes up to us and gives us like the best dap of all time that's going to get 3 million views, and then we can go home. But sometimes we feel the pressure of like trying to get the next best version of that, whether it's Scotty saying he misses Frankie, or it's always like Tillery and kids coming up and checking in on how breaking 100, breaking 90, breaking 85's going. I don't really have any of that stuff. Now the tournament's kind of started. By the time I get there, I'm going to go promote the merchandise. I got this media credential. I'm going to be wearing red, white, and blue. And I'm just going to be kind of wandering around this property, soaking it all in, tweeting out my thoughts, posting a couple nice looking Instagram stories. So if you're around, say hi, go buy the merchandise. I saw it's popping in the tent already. We got a great update that it's the fastest moving stuff on site. So if you're in the tent, you're rolling into that merchandise tent, which the President's Cup's it's a cool one to get. The President's Cup doesn't come to Canada very often. Like every decade, maybe it comes to Canada. So you're going to want to get President's Cup gear. But I'm hoping to get into it with the people a little bit up north of the wall, Trent.
Well, you're fresh off the Obama interaction. Is Trudeau going to be there? He's still the guy, right?
Trudeau's their guy. I don't think he's particularly hot in the streets right now. I think he's trying to, the way that I understand it, he's really trying to strip a lot of rights from the folks in Canada. They don't seem that crazy about him right now. Let me look at Justin Trudeau approval rating. See where he's at right now. What do you think he's got to be at for me to try to get a Trudeau picture?
That's a good question. I know he got canceled, I feel like, a couple years ago for some resurfaced photos of a Halloween costume, which those will come back and get you.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. No, I'm not really. I don't think I'm. I think I'm going to avoid Trudeau if I see him. I don't know that he's up there. I don't know that he's one that I'm looking to throw out there. I don't think he catches my threshold. If I do see him, maybe I'll change. Maybe I'll cave. Maybe I'll be like, oh my God, that is a world leader. So my whole mindset will change. I'm not really sure, but I'm going to be out there. I'd love to see Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's around. And if he's listening to this right now, I'm going to be out there. I'm going to be inside the ropes. So if you see me, say hi. But I don't know who else to see. I don't know if the presidents go up there like they do for all the ones that are in the U.S. I can't really remember. I mean, it's the President's Cups have been in Australia, South Korea, so the ones that have been away. So I don't know. I mean, Montreal is close enough, but I don't know that the U.S. presidents will be making up there. So I'm not really exactly sure who I expect. I'm excited to see Kevin Kisner. I'll tell you that much.
Same thing. I think just enjoy Canada. You know what I mean? Like, people love Canada. People love Toronto, Montreal, Edmonton. Like, Canada's a great country. So just enjoy yourself. And, I'm sure there has to be some sort of celebrity or political celebrity or somebody's going to go up there. So just keep an eye out. But if not, even so, just enjoy yourself. And hopefully, Team USA brings home a victory. That would be great.
I appreciate that. I am going to enjoy myself in Canada and Montreal. I've never been there as an adult, so I'm very excited. Guys, it can be intimidating sometimes to get your hair cut, knowing what to ask for, wondering if your stylist will be able to deliver a great haircut. There's good news. Sport Clip stylists have been specially trained in the nuances of men's hair, taking the worry out of getting a haircut. This is true. This is what they do over at Sport Clips. They specialize in cutting men's hair. That's what they do. They've got stadium style seating when you go in. I do it. You go online, you put your name in, you show up right around the time when your name is going to be called. You roll in. You might have a 2 or 3 minute wait if you time it properly, which you can based on the internet. And if you do, you sit down on these fantastic stadium style cushion seats. They got TVs on, they got the game on, or they've got, the football pregame show. They've got live from on. If you're getting ready for a big golf event, they got it all on. And you just like to have a good, nice, clean haircut. It makes the world of difference, and Sport Clips does it best.
The TVs are very important because we're in the thick of sports scheduling. Like, if you're there, there's like 2 days a week where if you're there, there's going to be no sports on. Everything else, there's sports on. And Sport Clips has all the TVs. You can watch it. They're the pros in men's hair. I go to Sport Clips. I'm an easy client because they run a one guard all over my head and I get out of there. But they can do everything. They've got great stylists. They've got everything you need. It's a very comfortable chair. The whole experience is A1. So if you need to get your hair cut and there's a Sport Clips nearby, which I guarantee that there is, they are the ones you got to go with.
I'm pretty easy client too. I do like just like a 2 on the sides and back, and like don't really change much up top. It just is what it is up there. And like one time she even was like, "You want the MVP experience?" And I was kind of in a rush, so no, she charged me like $10 and was like, "I'm just going to charge you $10 because it was like that easy." And then other times I've gone in there when I'm not really going to be going home and doing the shampoo. And I got the full MVP, which is the shampoo. Right? They do the thing where you like lean back. They got those cool sinks where your neck just fits perfectly into the sink. And dude, they like shampoo and massage the top of your head. They give you a warm towel and like cover your face. And you're just sitting there like, I just went to Sport Clips. It took me 5 seconds to get in line, online, and boom, here I am getting this experience. So Sport Clips, they do a phenomenal job. It's a great experience. They got locations all over the place. Nothing says confidence like a great haircut. And nobody does great haircuts like Sport Clips. It's a game changer. Couple administrative things. Let's talk a little bit about breaking 85. We got our first drop. You've started in the 1-teens, wherever you started at. You went in Saltillery. You got way better. You broke 100. You went in Saltillery a couple more times. You got way better. You broke 90. Now we're trying to break 85, which is, I've said to you, I think I said on this show, but I've said to you before too, that I would say sub 85. If I play golf with somebody and they're a stranger, I've never met them before, and then someone says afterwards, "Oh, is that person a good player?" And that person legitimately shot under 85. That's sort of my threshold where I'm like, yep, that's a solid player. So how are we feeling going into breaking 85?
Yeah, so this comes out Thursday. Breaking 85 came out yesterday. I don't know if I want to spoil it just yet, but yeah, I think my original goal, I mean, the goals were pretty clear. It was break 100 or break 90, but in my own head was I want to be able to play golf and not be the guy who people are like, let's go, dude. Pick it up. Like, you don't have to finish. You don't have to do anything. Like, I wanted to be forgotten on a golf course when I play with people. That I think is the ultimate goal for a guy like me. Because when you're shooting 110, even 120, I think the first episode of Breaking 100 was 120. And that's a guy who, if you're golfing with him at the end of the round, you hate him. And I fully get that. Like, he's always like, you finally get to the green. And then if somebody's got a scorecard, they're like, "What'd you make there?" And you're the guy who has to do a full 180 and count every single stroke that you took. And it's going to probably be double digits. So I didn't want to be that guy anymore. And certainly that's the case once you break 90. Once you break 100, you're just kind of out there with your pals. You're having a good time. Breaking 85, and we talked a little bit about it on the last show, is just a whole different thing. It's what you just said, Riggs. That's good golf. That's somebody who's like, oh, wow, that guy, he can really play. He can, if catch him on the right day, and he can really play. So it's going to take probably more of a commitment to practicing. Again, I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, I'm excited for the journey to keep going. I want people to watch it. The first episode, Eisenhower Red on Long Island, and yeah, it's just going to take a whole other level of skill and practice to be able to accomplish this goal. So. But I feel good about it. I feel good going forward. My game feels really good. I'm kind of spoiling it as I talk about it now, I guess. But it's going to be great, and me and Frankie are just going to keep churning along.
I love it. I know people might. I'm not sure how people are going to react to like a good player breaking 85. But the way I think about it, it's like if you shoot 83, for example, and that's usually about 11 over most courses, par 72. That means you parred like half the holes. You probably had a double or two. You probably had a birdie or two, somewhere around there. That's fucking incredible to go out there. And we did a whole thing on the last show talking about how hard golf is, about how many different elements to the game that there are, about how many things can go wrong, about how you can be greenside in 2 and have done everything incredibly well. And then you have a pretty simple chip. You catch it a half an inch thin, you blade it over the green, and now you're making triple instead of par. And you just threw 3 strokes away when you played that hole actually pretty well. And now you got to do that 17 more times. It's just really fucking hard game. So for me, I really do think if you can break 85, you're just playing really, really, really solid golf. So great journey. Trent continues to get better. People all got to follow that. If you don't mind, Trent, on a similar, and that episode 1's out. People should go check it out. On a similar note, I would like to address a few things about the Hater series.
Please, the floor is yours.
So episode 3 came out last week. If folks haven't watched it yet, then you should probably take the next 5 minutes or so. Speed forward, no spoilers. So hit that little fast forward button. But we're 3 episodes in now, Trent, and a couple things that I'd like to address about it. First of all, people have been insanely supportive. I appreciate the hell out of that. Trent's been around a lot of it. We spent the last week together quite a bit. People at the airport, golf courses, going and getting a bite to eat, a coffee in the morning, whatever it is. People are like, way to take down that fucking hater. I love that. So people have been incredibly supportive. Emails, DMs, awesome. People are watching the series, which is great. Very much, very, very much appreciate that. A couple things that are the more kind of common feedback, complaints, bitching, whatever you want to call it, that has popped up on any of the negative fronts. First one is the vetting process of how you pick somebody. And I do think that there's a little bit of a belief that like we have the capabilities to do intense background checks on people, not just on who they are, what their name is, and what their handicap is, but like what exactly are they like as a human? What exactly is their personality going to be on camera for 4 or 5 hours? What precisely is their golf game compared to their handicap? And I just would like people to know that we have no fucking chance of doing really any of that. We pretty much, we pretty much try to keep tabs on dozens of people that have left truly malicious, hateful comments and DMs towards yours truly over the years. And then we reach out to these folks and we try to match up handicaps, which is not that easy. Almost think of it as a tennis match. It's like at some level, when you play tennis against someone one-on-one, if you're a certain degree better or worse than the other person, you can't even really have a match. And we kind of look at it that way with golf, where it's like if we're going to have a one-on-one match, we don't want to do strokes. I really do think that you lose people when it comes to strokes. Kind of changes the whole narrative, and it's people that aren't really that versed in the handicap system and stroke people, bitch, or whatever. So we're trying to just do it straight up. And so you really got to find somebody that's in like a handicap range of a 2 through a 7 or 8 or so is kind of what we're thinking. And first match, I lost to Doug, who I believe was an 8. I lost on the 18th hole. Second match, Alex was coming in at like a 2.1, and I beat him 3-2. And then this final match, our boy Clayton was coming in as like a 7, and I beat him 8-6. Now, anything could happen any given round, so obviously it's not perfect science. But the whole point is, when people reach out, they're like, I'm a 13, but I could take you down straight up. It's like, well, we don't want another Clayton issue. Yes, Clayton was great in the sense that he became quite the villain. I think people liked to rally against him. And part of me, as crazy as it might sound, I feel a little bit sympathetic towards Clayton getting all kinds of shit on the internet. But although he doesn't seem to care the way that he texts, which is an amazing place to live, an amazing place to be in. But I do think it sucks. You put yourself out there, which we appreciate. The content wouldn't exist if he wasn't willing to do it, which we appreciate. But it's not easy having people shit on you online. So hopefully he's handling all that fine. And he's been a trooper about it. But my whole point is that I was worried 7 or 8 holes in, being like, well, if he just hits it in the fucking shit on every hole, there's no drama. There's really no match. It's not that exciting. And so my whole conclusion in all of that, Trent, is that I find it quite interesting how the turns have tabled, some might say, where some folks are just like, yeah, these guys that you're getting out there, Riggs is like too good to have good matches against these people. And you got to find people that are better. And it's like, well, the whole reason we're doing these matches is because all of you fuckers DM'd me or commented on all the videos being like, you're fucking horrible at golf. There's no chance you could beat anybody. And now a lot of those same people are like, these matches aren't even entertaining because you're crushing people. And so I just want people to understand that we have a pool of people that we've tried to track over the years. And we've tried to be like, these people fucking hate upon me. Let's reach out to them. Let's see who they are as best we can. Let's see if they're free in these short span of dates in which we have the opportunity to film. Let's see if they can get off work for a day or two in the middle of the week. And all that shit has to be checkbox, 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 checkbox. And then they show up and we play the match. And so it's like, we don't We don't really have this incredible vetting operation where we're able to pick from 50 people that are presented before us after vetting them deeply the exact perfect candidate. This is kind of the whole point of the series, is like, these are the people that are leaving comments, mean shit on the internet. We're just grabbing them pretty randomly, if we're honest, and we're just plucking them from there on the internet, and we're putting them here in real life, and we're playing one-on-one match play, and we're seeing who fucking wins. And I just kind of wanted to get some of that off my chest, Trent, so that people understand the entire process that's going on here.
I think that's fair. I think you make some very, very solid points. Do you think the series could ever evolve into giving someone strokes? Like, I think the concern originally when you want to do strokes is like, people don't get it. They're just like, if you did an episode 1 and 2, it's like, I don't understand. Like, this guy's getting this guy's getting that. This thing has momentum now, and it has an audience, and people are going to watch an episode almost regardless, because they're like, oh, this guy's going to play against someone that has hated on him on the internet. Then if you open that pool up a little bit and you give a guy a few strokes here and there, I don't think it's going to distract the audience as much as we might be thinking it will. Like, once you have a set, a goal and a format, you're just kind of like, all right, now we're rolling. So then maybe you do bring in a 13 handicap and you give him strokes on either side, and like, boom, he's also a great character. And you have people watching who just have to learn. And mostly people who are watching probably understand the stroke thing anyway. I just think originally you want to do it against people who are similar to your level, because it's very easy to understand right off the bat. You're like, this guy's this, I'm this, we're going to play straight up match play, and boom, we're rolling. Maybe further along, and it's very much up to you, it's your series, could you open up the pool because people are already invested, and off the top, maybe episode 6, you're like, hey, this guy's a 15 handicap, but he's talked a lot of shit about me. So here's the strokes. Here's how we're going to do it. And boom, now we're rolling. We're already into the episode.
Yeah, I would say the short answer is an affirmative yes. I would say if we get the right person who is just a real dickhead, and believe it or not, there are some folks who, even in the communication, which usually pretty much is run by Brendan Jones, a little bit of Kyle Timms, who Kyle Timms is like the fore-play online vigilante. You know, he's really out there throwing digital spears at people that come after us, which I love about him. So the two of them are kind of in communication with these folks. And there's a few of them, Trent, who have been fucking dickheads even to our guys, that have been in the communication back and forth with our producers, who were trying to get, from total stranger internet commenter to, okay, we're going to get you in person in front of rigs and play a match. They've been like, hello, idiot. Like, how are you really the producer of this? You don't even know how to communicate about it. They've been like shitting upon Brendan in like completely non-public private interactions. And so, yeah, if one of those guys, I don't care if they're a 30 handicap, like, we'll figure out a way, I think, to make sure we can have a match with someone if they're that much of a villain.
Those are the guys we want. If they're being mean in private DMs to our producers, those are the guys you want for sure. Now, is there any thought to, and I'm such a stupid golfer, and like, I'm literally, when I'm over the ball, I'm like, just get this thing in the air and I'm going to be happy. Is there any credence to like the match play versus stroke play thing? What are your opinions on that?
I have seen some people definitely being like, you should do stroke play, and usually that's because they're coming at it like it's a handicap proving thing, which I think is being misconstrued. I don't think it has anything to do with trying to prove a handicap. I think the whole point, I'm not against it. However, I think it's worse entertainment. I think match play is more dramatic. It's more riveting. It's easier to consume. I think that if people are grinding out over stroke play, putting everything out when it's definitely a more true form of trying to see, what someone's handicap is or isn't, and 100% understand. But I think, there's a reason, like in the intense, Ryder Cup matches that we've done, or the Travel Series matches that we've done, I think match play delivers more in the theatrics. I think it's more easy to consume. Every hole is sort of a battle in and of itself. You have huge putts to win or lose a hole, and all of that delivers. So that's sort of the mindset on that. But I wouldn't hate that we do a detour one episode where we do just a pure stroke play against someone. I have absolutely no issue with that. I would happily do it if we think as a group, especially that won't deter from sort of the entertainment factor. I have absolutely no issue with that whatsoever. And I do think that people probably want to see that at some level. So I have absolutely no issue with that. My sort of reason for doing the match play was what I said earlier. I think it's just easier to consume, and I think that's more traditionally what people do in like a mano a mano rivalry thing. That's like what happens in the Ryder Cup. That's like when you go look at some of these, like from old school Scotland when it was like old Tom Morris and young Tom Morris going down to Edinburgh to play against those. Like by all accounts, it was like they would play fucking 2-on-2 match play. So I just thought like head to head match play is sort of the way to go when it comes to playing somebody one on one in like a heated match.
Yeah, and like I said with the stroke thing, I think you've got such a good format, and it's really such a good idea that you can play with it. Like I really think if you switch to stroke play for one of them, I don't think people are going to be like, they're not going to throw their hands up and leave. And if you switch back to match play, I don't think they're going to throw up their hands and leave. I really think it's such a good hook and it's such a good idea. And the last guy was such an asshole and such a villain that if you continue to get guys like that, you can do anything you want. You could do mini golf, and I think people would watch. If you get characters like Clayton, you could do anything. You play pickleball, you can play ping pong. It's going to work. So I think it's up to you. If you want to experiment with formats and strokes and all that, I really think you have carte blanche to do anything because it's such a good idea, man.
I appreciate that. I think all of it's on the table. I think you're right. I think it's kind of the series it's picked up enough of its own sort of momentum that we could definitely play with it. But I'm not against any format. People want to see a one-on-one stroke play against someone who's a similar handicap to me. Absolutely no issues with that. I think too, a couple last thoughts on it, and then we can move on. But I also, I know people are now again in a hilarious bit of irony. They've shit on Alex and now Clayton being like, oh, there's no way that guy's this handicap. There's no way that guy's that handicap. I just would like to say, like, they don't really consider the fact that it's harder to play on camera than it is to play on a Thursday afternoon when you're out there with your best buddy. It's just harder, man. There's a reason that you watch Mito Pereira take an outrageous golf swing on the 72nd hole of the PGA Championship in the most nerve-wracking moment of his career, and he's one of the better players on planet Earth. And I think that you take these people that are like us, right, Trent? Like this is the whole point of the series. Once again, it's like us. We play on camera a lot. You take someone that hasn't really played on camera before. They show up. And I know every fucking person I know that I play golf with, if it's something as simple as there's a delay on the tee and the group behind us pulls up, they get really nervous over that next swing for no fucking reason other than you can just feel eyes piercing upon you. Your limbs don't feel the same. Your knees don't feel the same. Your touch doesn't feel the same. Next thing you know, you make a twice as fast, jerky swing than you usually make. The ball flight's unlike any ball flight you've had in months. And you're now fucking reeling and you're spiraling and you're falling off the planet. And I totally understand and comprehend that. That's why we watch people collapse all the way from the highest level of golf to the lowest level of golf. And it gets magnified at our level because we all have wildly flawed swings, short games, everything. And so when you add nerves and uncomfortability to the equation, people are just going to play worse. That's just what it is. And credit to Alex. I know people were kind of shitting on him. Like, there's no way that guy's like a 2 handicap. I believe he ended up posting like an 82 or 3 or something, which, yes, that's not what you necessarily expect from a 2 handicap. But it's not like he shot 105. That's a tour level course. The women were just there. Tiger Woods has won there before. And so my point is not that I went out and beat guys that were playing the best golf of all time. I didn't. I beat guys that were, the competition that was presented to me. A win's a win. But I also think people just don't fucking get that it's way harder when you're out there on camera in a big match. Somebody's talking a little bit of shit or you've talked shit before. Now you got to back it up. it's just fucking harder to play, man. It's just way harder.
What we're learning is the internet has an insatiable desire to critique and criticize. We knew that already. We're just getting reaffirmed. Like they've been hating on you for a long time, and then you bring these people in who they just simply have a handicap. That's the way it always goes. I have a handicap. Riggs has one. Frankie has one. Everyone who plays golf pretty much has one. And if it's not exactly what they want it to be, they're gonna criticize it. So we're just learning. It's almost should be a learning for you where it's like it's not just you. Like they're not critiquing just your handicap. It's anybody who steps on that screen, anybody who has a listed gin, they're going to criticize. So it's like, that's just the way that it's always going to be. And yeah, that's really it. It's a great series and it's not going to stop.
That's
so I'm
just
very
the way it
that.
is. Techniques delivers legendary hi-fi sound quality that only they can provide with state-of-the-art, industry-leading noise canceling. Shut out the noise that distracts you from staying on top of your game. This is huge, huge, huge for us travelers. It's just massive. When you're on a flight, there's all kinds of noise, things going on. There could be crying babies, unruly pilots that are giving you too many updates. You could have just loud talkers next to you. The plane itself is just loud. Those engines are massive. There's all kinds of stuff going on. It's also huge for podcasting. There's times where we just have to get the podcast done. Maybe you're on the road. Maybe you're in a hotel room or something. It's got some thin walls. You need to stay locked in, focused on an interview that we're doing or with one another so that we can try to have a good show. And these things that I've got, which is I've got these A800 over the ear ones, by the way, which I'm excited to get going because I just got these, but I've been using the AZ80 earbuds and they're just phenomenal, Trent. They're as good as it gets.
So I have the A800s, and on my flight from Jacksonville back up to New York, there was a crying baby. And, at this point, I've traveled so much that I've come to the conclusion that it's nobody's fault. You can't blame the parents. You don't want to blame the kid because they're just young and their ears are probably popping. So I've got all this like a little bit of rage and I just feel it and I don't do anything about it. I don't say anything, but all I do is I put on my A800s Techniques headphones and the problem goes away. I don't hear anything. I just sit there in silence or I listen to a podcast or I listen to music and everything's all good. So if you are like me and when you fly, nothing gets under your skin quite like a crying baby, again, nobody's fault. You got to get these Techniques. The over the ear, just the ones in the ear, the sound that you are going to hear, it's not a crying baby, it's music, and it's a podcast, and it makes the traveling experience so much better, so you got to get these.
They're great, man. They're just really, really good. They're designed with super soft ear pads, plush cushioned headband, delivering all-day comfort from the office to the fairway, keeping you in the zone. Shop for Techniques, true wireless AZ80 earbuds, or the A800 over-ear headphones at us.techniques.com/foreplay. That is us.techniques.com/foreplay.
While we've been doing this, by the way, I've had strangers in and out of my apartment because I don't know. At one point, I don't know if anybody saw me wave. I waved in 4 strange men that I don't know because I am moving to Florida. And I let my landlord know that I'm moving out of this apartment. And I live in a very popular neighborhood in New York City. So it's an apartment that people want. So I told them literally yesterday, like, hey, I'm moving out. If you guys want to start showing this thing, let's do it. And today they were like, boom, we got 10 people who are going to come look at it. So it might happen again. People are coming in that I didn't even know were going to be here. But I'm if you see me waving individuals into my apartment, it's not that I live by myself. It's not that I have someone weird sitting next to me. It's just that people want this apartment in New York City. I'm moving out of it in the next couple of weeks, and people want to see it. So if you see me waving people in, that's what's going on currently in my apartment.
Are you doing any judging of these folks? Like, I don't know if I want that guy sleeping in my room for the next year.
No, it's flip side. I'm worried that this place isn't clean enough when they come in here. Like, I'm worried that they're going to be like, the last guy who's been living here for a year is a slob and hasn't taken care of this place whatsoever. You think I want to move in to a pigsty, a place that was a place where a guy would just sit in here in his own filth and would be a disgusting human being. So I spent pretty much all day on my hands and knees cleaning this place so people didn't walk in and weren't like, oh, I even lit a candle. I opened the windows. Like I was very cognizant of the fact that people were going to be in here looking at my stuff. And I just didn't want them to think this guy is a disgusting, disgusting pig.
Bro, speaking of that, on that same note, I've got my sister-in-law and several of her friends are coming and staying at my place in Arizona this weekend.
Oh,
I hit her up a year ago, whatever, and I said, look, I got this cool place in Arizona. I'm never there. We're on the road so much. You guys would love it. Arizona's great for most of the year. It's hot weather. You guys can do a little pool action, whatever. And they're coming this weekend and staying at my place. Trent, I am treating this place like the police are coming tomorrow to dust it for fingerprints on a crime scene, and they're going to potentially charge me for murder. Like as a single guy who's lived here alone for a year and a half, there's stuff going on in here that that you kind of are trying to hide. That you're like, I gotta make sure that this place looks like no one's been here in years.
Dude, I literally this morning when I thought to myself, we got to clean this place. We just have to do it. I normally don't, and I'm not that crazy like messy and dirty, but I also don't know, and that's the point I'm trying to make is like what I think is clean and fine is probably a pretty low bar. Like I can live in just about any sort of circumstance. So I literally went to each room in my apartment today, which isn't that many. It's a bathroom, it's a kitchen, it's a living room, and it's my bedroom. And I walked in and I would stand and say, all right, put yourself in someone else's head. Don't be you right now. Be someone who is coming here to look into this room, into this bedroom, into this bathroom. And do you see anything out of order? And there were a couple of things where it's like, all right, let's scrub the top of this, or let's sweep up in here, or let's get these little hairs and these little markings off of the mirror. And like, I just had to really put myself in a different headspace because I largely don't give a fuck. I'm not a slob. I don't live in horrible conditions, but I just know that my level of acceptable is probably the floor when the people who are going to come look at this place and maybe want to rent it, it's way higher. It's the ceiling. So no, it's been a more stressful day than I thought it was going to be. I woke up this morning not thinking there were going to be 15 strangers coming in here, and boom, all of a sudden the floodgate open. And I called the lady and I said, give me 2 hours. Give me 2 hours so I can tidy this place up and just get it presentable. But it's been good. And again, like the good thing is that, and I don't give a fuck. I don't own this building, so it's like I don't care if people rent it or not. But I just want it to be presentable, and I don't want to be a guy who people think is like, wow, that guy is disgusting. So, and it's a popular neighborhood, and people want to move into it anyway. So even if there was melted cheese on the floor, this neighborhood is popular enough that I think people would still want to move in.
Yeah, they're gonna be renting that bad boy. I had I had cleaners come, and then they do the cleaning thing, which is great. But then I'm also, there's just stuff that hasn't moved. Like I just set stuff down 14 months ago and just haven't picked it up for any reason ever. And I mean, like there was just a pair of shoes up against the wall earlier that I moved, and underneath it were like those balls of dust. You know what I mean? Like not like just a layer of dust, but like they've turned into balls of dust that I have to get the dust buster out. I'm just like, now how many balls of dust are around this place? So I started going around like behind and under the bed, and I'm just like, oh man, you got to get rid of some of this stuff. It's been a hell of a day in this place.
Yeah, I have a Peloton bike in here, and there's just stuff hanging on it like that. I didn't even really try to fix that. It's not, everyone who comes in sees it. It's the most expensive clothes hanger you could ever have, and they're like, this guy hasn't used this thing in 6 months, which is true. But that I just kind of bit the bullet on that one. I was just like, it is what it is. I don't use that thing nearly enough. I'm overweight, and that's just the way that it's going to be. But outside of that, I think I did a pretty good job of like making my apartment seem like a normal person's apartment, as strange as that sounds.
It's great. That's the goal. You want them walking out of there and not in any way talking about anything that had to do personally with you.
It's very similar to what I said about my golf game earlier. I want to be forgotten. I want to be forgotten on the golf course, and I want my apartment, when people are looking to rent it, I don't want them to walk out exactly what you said. Like, boy, that guy just doesn't clean his sink. That's what he has decided. No. I want them to walk out and be like, all right, you got any more units to show me? Or just whatever, just like a normal conversation. And I think we accomplished that. I wasn't able to talk to the nice gentlemen that were just here because I was doing a golf podcast, but they didn't run out of here in horror. So I'm thrilled about that.
I got a declaration for the year 2025 that I'm going to drop on you right now. I'm going to attend my first LIV Golf event in the year 2025.
Really? What brought this along?
So on Sunday, I was watching the team championship in Dallas for a couple minutes, and first off, I got to say, I hate, and maybe this makes me sound like a fossil, like the old guard, but I hate the music in the background during a heated competition. I just hate it. And I was even thinking, I was like, why is it that I despise that? But I was even thinking, like, during in an NHL game, they'll play music in between whistles, but then they make sure that when they get ready to drop that puck, cut the music, and it's this dramatic silence or crowd noise is really the only thing that's in the background, or the announcer. And I'm trying to watch, and there's like they got a big putt for the Ripper GC, and you could just hear whatever. It might be Morgan Wallen, it might be Drake, it could be anybody. You can just hear it the whole time in the background, and it just makes it really hard for me to think that, like, it feels like they're warming up the whole time. Like, it feels like they're broadcasting the warm up, and they're gonna cut the music for the real thing, and they never do. That's my one rant on it. I had to get off. But outside of that, they're playing out there. I think it was the Ripper GC who won the title. John Rahm couldn't play all weekend. He had gotten, I think, a really bad case of the flu. So he sat the entire weekend and wasn't playing. But I was tuning in. I was watching because it was the team championship. There's really no PGA Tour golf going on. Football hadn't quite started yet when I was kind of tuning in. So I was watching the LIV a little bit. And, it was nothing that jumped out that made me overly fired up, other than the fact that I was seeing guys on the coverage, Cam Smith. I was seeing you got like Mark Leishman. I was watching Kevin Knott, like guys playing golf that I hadn't seen play golf, dude, in like years. Like some of the LIV golfers that are non-major championship golfers that I was watching play. And I was like, it'd be nice to kind of get out there and just chop it up with these guys during a practice round, see what the event is like as a spectator. And I actually, if it weren't for this last weekend with travel and stuff, I was going to try to make it work where I could go down to Dallas and attend the event. But anyways, the whole thing maybe jot down in my little notes here that 2025, I don't know which event, I don't know at what point in the schedule, but I'm going to attend a LIV Golf event in 2025.
I think that's a great idea. You bring up a good point of like just getting, in our job, FaceTime with the professional golfers is a big deal. We're not journalists in any respect, but like even just a little bit of familiarity when we go to these tournaments is like, oh yeah, I remember that person exists. That's currency for like maybe doing a video later on and like, oh yeah, I just saw that guy. We talked about X. Like that is important. And yeah, we just haven't been to a LIV event. That we haven't been to a single one. And there's still very, very good and very popular professional golfers out there. And from what I've gathered or what we've been told or I've seen in an email that I sort of read is like, LIV is like, do whatever you want when you come out here. You can walk right behind these guys. You can be on the range. You can be on the golf course while they're playing and like talk to them. So I think it's a good idea. If we're just, the world has just opened up now. Whatever the Saudis wanted to do with LIV has largely been accomplished. And it's a known entity that people watch and follow and they attend the events. So whatever they wanted to do, congratulations to them. And we're probably going to start going to them, like you're saying, to see these players and potentially make content out of it. So I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's just the way of the world. And it's just another golf event, no different than when we go to the majors or we go to the big PGA Tour events where it's like, hey, we're just trying to get FaceTime with these players to make a relationship. And I think that's a great idea going forward. So 2025, you're going to one of these events at least, and I'm sure a couple of us will end up going to them.
Yeah, that's it. And I was texting back and forth with Graham McDowell a few weeks ago, and I just made me start thinking, like, I was kind of thinking about Keegan Bradley. And I was thinking, like, same kind of bucket for a couple of the guys that have gone over to LIV. Keegan's a little younger, but like gone over to LIV as like a little bit older. And I was like, I don't know how these guys that are not in the majors, I have no idea how they're playing. I don't know how Graham McDowell's playing. And I would like to just kind of go and be out there and chop it up with him. I like that guy. He's funny. He's got a great little English accent. And then I was thinking like like Anthony Kim. I'd go watch fucking Anthony Kim play golf in person like that.
Yeah.
I haven't done that ever. I don't know if I've ever seen Anthony Kim play golf in person. Like, I don't know that I was going to events in person when he was playing on the PGA Tour before the whole hiatus. And so I just kind of was thinking about it like the non-major championship LIV golfers that I just haven't seen in forever. I really want to go to events. So I'm putting that on there. People can hold me to that next year. I'm sure some of the LIV bot accounts will tweet this whole thing out, which is fine. I'm going to go to a LIV event next year. I imagine we all are. We got to pick one, go, do the whole thing, have ourselves a great time. So I'm excited for that. Have you found the perfect golf shoe yet? Well, G4 can definitely help you with the search. Their new drop has a style for everybody, whether you're seeking traditional, contemporary, or something somewhere in the middle. G4's latest selection of premium footwear has got you covered. There's plenty of waterproof styles for the upcoming season, which we know it's getting into the fall, which fall's fantastic. I've got the Gallivanter G-Lock with replaceable soft spikes. I love them. Frankie has the athletic MG4 Plus. Trent loves to rock the MG4 X2 cross trainers. I see you rocking those things all the time, Trent.
They're fantastic. And I think what's important about G4, and not every shoe company does this, I feel like they are very welcoming to a wider foot. And that's important for me. I got a pretty wide foot.
Mm-hmm.
Now maybe the Galvanters, they might not have as much give. They're more traditional looking. They're beautiful. But those other types, they have like a wider foot feel. And I feel like there's a lot of guys out there like me who like your foot's a little wide. You need a golf shoe that's comfortable. You're wearing them all the time. You're wearing them a couple times a week. You're out there. And G4, they just do a spectacular job. So if you're a big guy out there like me and you got a wide ass foot, G4 is where you need to shop for your golf shoes because they are accommodating. It's just very important. So I wanted to get the word out on that. And yeah, it's just a great golf shoe. Bottom line.
Tons of different styles. They're cool. They're comfortable. You know, I call the Gallivanters more my tournament shoe. You know, if I feel like I got some pants on, maybe I'm playing like a top 15 golf course, private, I'll wear pants and the Gallivanter and be out there. And like you said, it's a little bit more of a traditional look, kind of my tournament shoe or my private club shoe. But then most of the time, man, from the MG4s, they've got the Gallivant Tours now, which are kind of a little bit in the middle, all kinds of cool different style, comfort. They've got so many options. So visit G4 to find out which shoe is for you. Answer a few questions. Their footwear finder will actually do the work for you. Don't forget g4.com/4 for 10% off of your first order. That is gfore.com/4 for 10% off your first order. Your feet will thank you. Shout out to Alistair Docherty. There's one event left. It's the Korn Ferry Tour Championship. He is, I believe, 46th in points. He pretty much has to win. If he wins this next week, he'll get his PGA Tour card and finish inside the top 30, I believe. But regardless, he's had sort of a career-changing year. The second place finish in Myrtle Beach, which 350 or so grand, got him into the Canadian Open. And then he also had by far his highest finish in terms of points on the Korn Ferry Tour, where throughout the whole second half of the season, he really didn't have to battle to keep his Korn Ferry Tour status. He had played well enough for the first time consistently to kind of know that he was going to have at worst pretty much full Korn Ferry Tour status for next year. So he's able to be kind of freed up. This is only his second year on the Korn Ferry Tour. And so just an awesome year for our guys. Got one event left. I'm actually going to get a little dinner with him tonight. I haven't seen him in months, it feels like. But I know we haven't done an update on him. He's the only Barstool Golf sponsored athlete on planet Earth outside of the three of us now, which is funny. And so just giving a little update. He's had, no matter what happens, he finishes last next week. Just an unbelievable year. I'm proud of that kid. From first time I played with him at Mesa Country Club, to being out there on TV in Myrtle Beach Classic, in the PGA Tour event, doing the damn thing, giving himself some financial security, and then playing really well in the Corn Ferry Tour. He's got one event left. Hopefully he wins the damn thing, gets his PGA Tour card. But regardless, little update on our boy Alistair there, who's just had a great 2024.
Fantastic. Yeah, that second place finish that he had is like one of the great sports stories of the year. Like, it was so cool, and like you said, made him a little bit of money, and like that's our guy. He's out there rocking our stuff. So obviously, we wish nothing but the best for Alistair. So hopefully, we'll just keep rooting for him, and hopefully things keep going well, because it's gone pretty damn well in 2024, like you said.
Has gone damn well. So good job for our boy. I think I said Dan well there because I was going to transition to. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that Dan Rappaport announced that he has moved on. Which overall he's going to Pro Shop Holdings, which is Chad Mumm. Chad's a great guy. We all kind of know Chad. I've played golf with Chad a little bit before. He was behind Full Swing's the Netflix on Full Swing on Netflix. Full Swing on Netflix. Yep. He's a producer. Started this Pro Shop Holdings where they work with like Scratch and the Tour, and he was kind of behind a lot of the Creator Classic stuff. He's obviously had a great relationship with Dan for years because Dan has been the guy up there with his arch nemesis, Dylan Docherty, Amanda Balleonis as kind of the media commentators and narrators of a lot of those episodes of Full Swing. And look, Dan was going to go somewhere. He was going to continue as a professional. So there's no negative whatsoever. Good for Dan. The only comment that I will make is that I would be lying if I didn't say there had to be a hint of withholding information when Dan, was like, I'm not going to renew my contract. I'm really just going to kind of do my own thing. I'm not sure what the next thing was. I mean, come on, it's not, I think that he probably knew where he was going to go next. I mean,
the guy you need on this show is the guy who's normally on this show is Frankie Borelli, because I'm sure he has an opinion. I'm sure he has a loud and like not even he's got an opinion on this for sure. Yeah, it does seem like he probably knew. Chad Mumm, he worked closely with him to do the Creator Classic. Chad Mumm was very instrumental in the whole Creator Classic thing. So it is what it is. I wish him nothing but the best. Pro Shop, is that sort of PGA Tour's like new age content arm? Am I understanding that correctly?
I think so. I honestly think that's the best way to describe it. It kind of feels like they're doing a little bit more than that. So I think they have like tour media rights. Scratch, if people don't know, Scratch is part of the PGA Tour. It was sort of, I think, for years, like the PGA Tour sort of alternative, little bit more casual media arm that I don't think they necessarily were always projecting that it was part of the tour. It was sort of Scratch was kind of its own thing, but obviously they post like Tiger Tuesdays from the vault, and they're the only account that's allowed to just post PGA Tour clips. If you just post PGA Tour clips, if you're anybody else, you go straight to jail. And so they've been part of that. I think exactly. They're kind of doing some of the Scratch stuff. They've, I think, acquired a couple different. I think they acquired Sugarloaf, which Sugarloaf has done. They're like they do a great job of consulting with like branding. So one project, for example, when you play Pinehurst number 4, and it's got that like burnt orange number 4 circle on the benches and the tees, and the scorecard is like that was all done by Sugarloaf. And I think that they were acquired by Pro Shop, which is now where Dan's working. So I think they're doing all kinds of different stuff, to be honest with you, Trent. I don't know exactly what that business fully looks like, but either way, Dan's there. Good for Dan. Again, no hard feelings in that. He's going to move on. Your ex is going to date somebody new. That's just how the world works. Yep. That's totally fine. But it would be stunning to me if it was like, Chad Mumm, I haven't talked to you in a couple of years, Dan. Looks like you're not with Barstool Sports anymore. Would you like to? I doubt that things went down that way, if we're being totally honest with each other here in this situation.
There is a 0% chance that happened. Also, I just had a couple more strangers in my apartment. I was a little distracted about the Dan Rappaport opinion to have, because as soon as we started talking about it, my doorbell rang, and I was like, I'm not going to get up to get that, but I know that they were given access to my apartment. But I do want to have an opinion about my ex-coworker now jumping to a place that he probably at least had some sort of conversation, beforehand. But it is what it is. water under the bridge. We're moving forward, and there were 2 more strangers in my apartment just now, so things are moving forward.
Do you think a border wall is dumb like Gallego? Trent, these are all the texts that I'm getting right now because I'm in a swing state here in Arizona, and I just get political text after political text like you wouldn't believe from these people attacking border walls. They're attacking Kamala. They're attacking Governor Ducey. I mean, these texts that I get, man, they come in, and my first instinct is like, holy shit, who's texting me this? And then it's just a fucking political account.
I will say, as a man who was just in Arizona last week with DraftKings and you, I have never, and I mean never, seen so many yard signs around. It's like you would come up to a street corner and you think, a person, and this isn't even individuals, it's just public street corners where there's just like a little bit of an empty lot. You think maybe you see 1 or 2 political signs. No. There is 200, to the point where it almost takes away from what you're trying to do. You're so overwhelmed and you're looking at so many signs at once that you don't even really register what you're looking at. It's like boom, 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 and then you're gone. And I remember none of it. But I had never seen anything quite like that. In Arizona, swing state, you're right. Just they're hammering people, but I don't think it's having the effect. I more had the effect of like, that's way too much and it's overwhelming, and I'm not even going to look over there because I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's funny because we'll be on the road for so long, and it really is different based on which state that you're in. If you're in a state that's a lock that people aren't really battling for, the ad money's not spent on the presidential level, and so you don't really see a ton of it. And then when you come back here, I mean, last night, we're recording this a couple days early here, but last night I'm watching like Monday Night Football, and they're like, and the Bengals held again to just a field goal, and we'll be back for the final 2 minutes after this. And then it's like, so and so allowed an illegal immigrant to kill an 8-year-old child, and you're just like, oh, what the fuck? And it's just like, dude, it just has been nonstop. And then the very next commercial is for the other side, and then there's like a McDonald's commercial, and then they hit you again, and then you check your phone, and it's like all these texts about you. You're like, God damn, dude, it is relentless right now. And I get it. We're a month out, so I mean, I understand. But boy, swing state fucking media right now is off the charts.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and we've talked a little bit about this. We don't have to spend too much time on it. I'm not paying attention to all this stuff. I'm trying not to. It bums me out, et cetera, et cetera. I do feel like things have calmed down a little bit. No assassinations, no assassination attempts, no riots. There was the debate, which, everybody can have their opinion on that, whatever they want. But it was like, it feels like we're moving in a way that is like a typical election cycle. Now, it hasn't been that way the last 6 months or so, like I said, with the assassination attempt and all that. But like, it might have had the effect that people wanted. We didn't want it to happen, but the effect that we wanted was everything kind of just calms down a little bit. There's always going to be slander. There's always going to be attack ads. That's very much par for the course in the political realm. But I do feel like I feel more comfortable a month out than I did 6 months out, if that makes any sense.
It has been a few weeks since we had an assassination attempt on one of the presidential candidates.
Fuck, so there was that second one. I forgot about that one. God damn it.
Now, I know what you're saying. I think that if I'm honest, I think that this political campaign, this presidential campaign, really lost some juice when Biden dropped out and Kamala kind of stepped in. I mean, that guy was the most must-watch, edge of your seat television every time he was on. Like when he sat down for those interviews, man, and it's sad. It really is. It's old. It's not his fault. I truly believe it was the system and everybody around him that was sort of like Trump's the worst thing in the history of the world. We're stuck in this spot now. Biden wanted to be president forever, for his whole life. He's finally here. He's declining mentally, but we got to battle through this because it's worth it for the country because the alternative is so bad. And that's horrible for Joe Biden, an old person. But man, when he was on there and they would ask him a question, he would start to answer a question. It was thrilling television, dude, because he could say anything. He could just stop talking. he could mix two sentences completely together. He could like not even come close to addressing what the interviewer asked. And then also he had some decent ones where for like 10 or 15 minutes in an interview, he would deliver some pretty fucking good answers. And it was just, he's falling off bikes. He was like forgetting what was going on in the debate. He at times he like brought up people that have been deceased that he like thanked in different parts and ceremonies stuff. I mean, he was just, and again, for pure entertainment value, it is sad, but it was like, holy shit, we've got the most polarizing candidate in history, which has been Donald Trump, against Biden, who were losing day after day after day, and people are so just disgusted that these are our two options. And then there was the assassination attempt, which came shortly after a debate that was unlike any other, that now in hindsight, like that debate legitimately ended somebody's presidential and political career. That's how bad that debate performance was. We had all that going on. And then once Kamala got in there, and she's relatively normal for a political presidential candidate compared to everything else, for me, it's just kind of lost its juice. It hasn't been as exciting. We watched the debate kind of when we were all down at PGA Frisco, and as bad as I thought that it went for Biden the first time to where it ended his career, I did think Kamala just crushed Trump. I thought in the sense that she just baited him right into stuff that he just can't help. Like when she chirped him about people leaving his rallies early, and he just couldn't help but instead of like spending the next minute like really nailing her on like bad stuff that's happened over the last 3.5 years when she's been vice president, he was like, nobody leaves rallies early. Your rallies suck. And he was just going off, and like she just did that for an hour and a half. And so I thought, again, comparatively speaking to the Biden debate, it was kind of a nothing burger, even though she definitely dominated Trump and just had him walk right into what she wanted. Now, I think a lot of people would say Hillary did the same thing, and she still lost that election. So who knows if it has that big of an impact? But comparatively speaking, man, when I was coming on here a couple months ago, and I kept saying to you guys, I was like, I'm enthralled with this election right now. That was when every single day, man, there were new reports of what is Biden's condition? Who knew? Is he going to drop out of the race? Is Nancy Pelosi going to make him drop out of the race? Then there were different celebrities that were coming out that were like trying to have an impact on if he's going to drop out of the race. Then he got COVID and all that. In the middle of all that, Trump's ear was shot, and because somebody tried to assassinate him, somebody went to his rally, was murdered because of one of those bullets. And it was just, in terms of like, you had to turn on the TV. It was the craziest fucking thing that I can remember politically, like in our lifetime. It was insane. And then once he dropped out, in terms of just the juice of it, Trent, I agree with you. I think it kind of has felt like a little bit more normal of a campaign, which is kind of a bummer.
It's a bummer, but it's a good thing. I think. I don't know, but I don't really know. I think it feels. There was a lot of temperature talk when the first assassination attempt happened, where it was like, we got to throw ice cold water on this whole thing, or this thing is going to rip apart at the seams. It does feel, and I did forget, we're living in such a crazy time, I forgot about the second assassination attempt, but it does just kind of feel like things have cooled down a little bit. So I'm grateful for that as someone who's like, just get me to fucking December. Get this country to December in one piece. I don't give a fuck who wins. Just get me to December.
I think that's probably better for the country. And yeah, I mean, we're only a little over a month out, so who knows how this thing's going to go. I'm still paying attention. I'm still into it. I enjoy it. Everybody knows I started my career at Barstool Sports as the political blogger. We hosted the election night coverage. It was myself, Kat Timpf, and Dave Portnoy were anchoring this thing in 2016 when Trump wildly upset Hillary. One of the craziest nights of my entire life. So I live for presidential campaigns. I think they're fascinating. I've explained it like this before, but I just think the entire concept of two grown, accomplished adults shitting on the other one in a very public forum for like a year straight is the craziest thing in society, and it gets covered by every channel, and everybody's talking about it on Facebook and all the socials. It's fucking wild, man. It's wild. And like the winner of that basically popularity contest, like prom queen and king popularity contest, gets to control like the most nukes in the history of the planet is fucking crazy. The whole thing is crazy. And so I live for these campaigns. I think they're great. And so I'm still paying attention, but I do think it's lost some juice. All protein bars generally taste the same, but not these. Trent, what are you looking at right here, my friend?
I'm looking at the One Bar, the Reese's, and the Hershey's Cookies and Cream. These, like you said off the top, it's like, oh, I'm going to get a protein bar or whatever. I'll just grab one from the section and it's going to taste the same. That's not true anymore. That used to be true. It's not. The One Bars are changing the game. The Reese's one is so good. The Hershey's Cookies and Cream is so good. It doesn't even, you're just eating something that's delicious. It's not even, it is a protein bar and it only has 3 grams of sugar, but it's delicious. Only One Bar can do that. I love these things.
These things are phenomenal, dude. They got 18 grams of protein, so all kinds of good stuff. You have one after if you do a quick workout or you're just trying to get that protein but not have something that's got all kinds of other bad stuff. Just 3 grams of sugar. I had one of these Hershey's cookie and cream ones the other day, and I'm notoriously someone, I got no food in my place of residence. I keep no food in here. I'm a creature of an addictive personality. If I have food here, I will just eat it. Like anytime I've ever gotten, for example, a bag of popcorn, I just eat the entire bag. If I get a pint of ice cream, this first night that I open it and get a little bit of ice cream, I eat the entire pint. Gone. Thing's gone. If I have a frozen pizza in the oven, I will throw a frozen or in the freezer. I will throw it in the oven and I won't have 1 or 2 slices and eat some leftovers later. I will eat the entire pizza. So if I keep food in my place of residence, I will just eat the whole thing, all of it snack bad. So I don't generally do it. These I keep in my place of residence, and it's awesome because they're delicious. They've got 18 grams of protein, only 3 grams of sugar, and I love these things. They've also, over at One, they got other delicious flavors, birthday cake, maple glazed donut, blueberry cobbler. Try new One Reese's peanut butter, Lover's protein bar, and One Hershey's cookie and cream now. They really, really are delicious. Last thing I wanted to touch on, Trent and I are very seriously going to make some new life health leaps here soon. We've been talking about getting cold plunges. We've been talking about getting saunas. We've been talking about my new one that I picked up that my brother sent me is red light therapy. I've been looking up all kinds of red light therapy type stuff.
Yep.
And so if anyone out there has some pressing recommendations, because man, you can spend a couple $100 on a cold plunge or 15 grand. You can spend a couple $100 on a sauna or 15 grand and all kinds of stuff. But you know, we're trying to get going. I've talked a lot about my brother, and my brother Kyle has been deep into this world for a few years now, and it shows. His handicap's the lowest it's ever been, which is really all I actually care about. So I just want to play good golf. But his handicap's the lowest it's ever been. He looks healthier than he's ever looked. He's under 200 pounds for the first time since I can remember, but in a healthy way. He's like walking around like an asshole whenever I'm home with his shirt off to kind of show how jacked he is, which is just driving me crazy. And I'm like, but it's fucking working. And so Trent and I have been talking a lot. We're going to start getting involved in this stuff that everybody's talking about.
Yeah, we kind of started talking about this in Arizona at the DraftKings Invitational. We were on the 18th hole, and I've taken on a new initiative where I'm walking 10,000 steps a day, no matter what. It's just you got to have 10,000 steps or more by the end of the day. I've been doing it for about a week and a half, and I got it today. Like, and at the DraftKings thing, like we were busy all day, but we were hanging on that tee box for 5 hours, and I just wandered in circles. I tried to stay as social as I could while I was doing it, but I just walked in circles the whole time because I want to hit this 10K. I'm like obsessed with it, and I feel accomplished at the end of the day when I do it. So I was able to do it that day, and then at the Barstool Classic at Deerwood Country Club in Jacksonville. Shout out to everybody who came to that. Shout out to the staff at Deerwood. It was a great day, but if you ever looked over at the first tee where we were doing announcements, you probably saw a man wandering around. It was me because I was trying to get that 10,000 steps. That led then to like the Florida move, which is why I have strangers in and out of my apartment today. I'm moving to a place that has more space. And like if I wanted a cold plunge in a sauna in my current apartment, it just wouldn't work. I don't have enough space for that. But where I am moving to, I have much more space. So I do want to get healthier. I want to continue this initiative. I think just being healthy in general is a good idea, as doctors would tell you. And I want a cold plunge and I want a sauna. So again, if people have recommendations, I got the room for it now. I think Riggs has a decent amount of space in Scottsdale. We want these things. So again, if you have any recommendations and you want to see us live longer and be healthier and continue to put out podcasts and videos and tweets and Instagrams, we got to stay healthy. So that's really the bottom line. 10,000 steps a day or more, and an eventual cold plunge and an eventual sauna. That's all I'm looking for.
Me too. That's where we're at. So shoot us some recommendations, because it's a minefield out there trying to figure out which one to get. 28%, Trent. That is Justin Trudeau's approval rating as of June. 28%. That's what I'm looking at. That's low. Pretty low. I don't know if I can be. I'm not going to be looking for that guy when I get up there. Not going to be looking for him.
Higher than I thought, because all I see is shit about him. So, but it's not good. It's really not. That's really low. So don't go out of your way to take a picture with Justin Trudeau. We've already, taken a picture with Obama. We were going to do that no matter what. It does cause a bit of a shit stir just on the internet in general. We don't need another political figure on the fore-play Instagram grid. You know what I mean?
No, we don't. You're right. We got our fix. I already framed that one, by the way. I put it up in my house in North Carolina. It's a great picture.
Which one did you pick?
Good. We got good smiles on our faces. I picked the one where we're head on, where we're straight on.
That's got to be the one.
It's a winner. It's a winner, man.
Wait, we're talking about the one where we're wearing hats?
Yeah, hats.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's the one you have to pick.
Oh, it's a great picture, man. It's also just cool. You walk in, you're like, this guy that owns this house, he's fucking doing shit, man. Like this guy's with Obama. What the fuck?
It's a great picture. I got to get mine framed. I haven't even. How do you get a picture frame so quickly? How did you do that?
I went to Walmart, does 1 hour photo prints, and I printed it up. It's not the biggest one, so you got to do a little more of a serious operation to get a bigger, higher quality one, which I'm going to do in due time. But I wanted to get it up there quickly, so I went and I printed up a bunch of photos. That one included at Walmart. I went and picked them up, and then I grabbed that photo little envelope they give you, and I walk into the home decor section, and they've got a bunch of frames in there, and you just kind of pick a frame. They're pretty cheap, and next thing you know, that bad boy's hanging on the wall forever. And I said I would do the bigger one in due time. I'm not going to do that. That's just the version that's going to be framed in my house till I'm dead. So
that's the one. You put in some serious effort though. You did more than I thought you were going to do. But yeah, you're not getting a different one. That's just what's going to be there.
Cut my finger trying to fucking hang that thing too. Those things are booby trap. All those frames and shit, Trent. There's like glass. There's fucking these little, those little fucking latches that they have that you like put. You have to turn them one way and then or pull them up. Fuck, ooh. I was trying. They were one of the frames I got. There were all those tiny little metal ones, and there were like 9 of them, like 3 on each side, or 2 or 3, whatever. And they couldn't get them up, and they ripped my finger open. But I got it up. That fucking picture's up on my wall, dude. It's up there.
That right. Thing that'll get your fingernail.
Closest 2.
Yeah, closest 2.
We got to do closest 2. You got it, I believe, today, Trent Danny. We got to do a little update first.
I have closest to the pin this week. Yeah, Alex Bush. Turn that camera on, Gravy Train, and we'll get an update, and then I'll do this week's questions.
Gravy!
What's up?
All right.
He's got a big fucking shit-eating grin on his face this week as a 3-0 Buffalo.
It's a great feeling,
Prime time domination guy right now.
It's a great feeling. Last week, peak viewers in LIV Team Championship final round. 128K was the peak on Sunday, or final round. So I took that one with 92. So it was up what is that, 20% from the week before?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. Passing yards for Aaron Rodgers versus the Patriots, Thursday Night Football. 281 passing yards. Riggs closest, the only one in the 200s with 266.
Bang.
Good guess.
Low temperature in Phoenix, Arizona, Saturday and Sunday. 74 degrees. Riggs had 73.
Come on.
So big week from Riggsy.
Come on.
He lives there. That's not fair.
Big advantage. It was my choices too. I mean,
we all knew the stats. We all knew this.
Like when you're the home fucking Ryder Cup or President's Cup team, you know?
Okay, so right now we're at Trent with 55 in first, Alex 48, Riggs 43,
Okay.
and Frankie 37.
And Frank, I will say, I want people to know that Frankie is at Bethpage Black. He's filming. He's out there doing it. But he texted us in our group chat and said, "Hey, does this time work for you guys when we're all done with what we're doing out here?" And Riggs sent in there like, "We already started, so just don't worry about it." And he was like, "Well, you're clearly just trying to get close to the pinpoints, but you know, I respect that." So it's not going without
I just
controversy.
want to say
Frankie Brelli wants to be here.
So far behind. He's so far behind, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. All right. I got the questions this week. So first one, President's Cup week. How many points will Team USA score in Sunday singles? In the 12 matches on Sunday, how many points will Team USA score?
Nice. That's a good one.
Like that one.
I have a feeling Frankie's going to chime in on these, but we're not going to allow it.
I don't think we can.
I'm doing like some funny, like I sent it and then I was like, I'm making sure that's mathematically possible, but I think anything
I know.
0 to 12 is mathematically possible.
Yep.
Anything's possible as of now. All right. Riggs 7.5, Trent 7.5, Alex 8.5.
Okay, that would have been fucking hilarious. Well, then we just would have all,
if we all
gotten a
had
point.
it. Yeah, we all would have been closest no matter what it was.
That's true.
Maybe we do that when Trent's not here in the future.
You guys better not. All right. So second question. NFL, how many 50-yard field goals will be made in week 4 of the NFL season? If you're following football, there's been this crazy trend this year of kickers just making 50-plus yard field goals look like they're 30-yarders. It's really been something to watch. I don't know if the ball's different. I don't know if kickers were just like in a new generation where kickers are all of a sudden really, really good. But 50-yard field goals used to be a huge deal when I was growing up. And now guys are doing it like they wake up in the morning and they take a piss. It's that easy. So I did text Alex Bush because he's the guy who pulls all these stats. And I wanted to make sure it was possible that we were able to do it. And you were able to pull. Basically, I want people to have a number from week 1 or whatever this season on how many 50-yard field goals have been made, just so we all kind of guess in the same general area.
Okay.
Let me look at our text here. So I looked it up. It was NFL total over or 50 or over this year in 3 weeks is 43 for 55. So if you kind of divide that by 3, it's 14.3 per week off of 18.3
that are over
attempted.
50.
Yeah, 14.3 made a week on average this year in the NFL that are over 50.
Okay, my guess is in.
All right. Riggs 9, Trent 11, Alex 11.
Fuck,
Pace can't
dude.
keep up, boys. I mean, I'm going for a drought here. It's a real shame you guys squashed.
Let's just make sure somebody matches Trent so he can't, take that much.
All right.
lead.
The third one, we're doing another temperature one. I did a random location generator, and I did what will the low temp be in Osasco, Italy on Sunday?
Osasco, Italy. Do we know anything about Osasco, Italy?
No, nope, and don't
Nothing.
look.
And there's towns in Italy that are like in the mountains, and there's some that are like on the beach.
Have no idea where this was. I'm pretty sure Frankie didn't go there for his honeymoon, so we didn't hear anything about it. I really have no idea what this temperature could be. Low temp in Osasco, Italy on Sunday.
On Sunday. Okay.
Fahrenheit?
No clue.
Fahrenheit?
Whatever
Regular.
the one my weather app is.
That's what he said. That's what Trent said last time. Just regular.
I don't know. I don't know. So whatever my app says, that.
Just regular.
That's very American of me. Whatever the regular thing is.
That's so American. All right. Riggs 52 degrees, Trent 43 degrees, Alex 69 degrees.
Ooh. Okay, we're a little bit all over the place there.
Ah, there it is.
Nice.
All right, I got this last one. I got a new style that we're going to do. That we're going to try. And I'll see if you guys like it or not.
Okay.
On Tuesday's show, the next time we record, I'm going to flip a quarter 10 times. How many times will that quarter land on heads?
Incredible. Okay.
I
Wow.
love this. We have to remember to do this.
Of course, I got to find a quarter. Who has quarters anymore? Who has change in their pocket? I don't know, but I will go to a gas station. I'll go somewhere and get a quarter so I have it on Monday.
Wow. Come on, Riggs. Good guess here, buddy.
Quarter right here. All right, out of 10?
Yep.
10 times.
On heads or tails? Not that it really matters at all.
Heads, right?
Heads.
Okay.
I'm a tails never fails kind of guy, so I was rooting for.
I was, but the Bills lost like every coin toss on tails the last 2 years, so it's tough. They had the worst coin toss percentage the last 10 years. It's embarrassing. All right. Trent 6, Riggs 4, Alex 3.
All right.
Wow. Oh, they're all going to be 4, 5, or 6. Okay, I got to write that down. Heads on Tuesday's show.
Yeah. I'll be.
Wow.
I'll make
Make
sure
sure
to
to
put
put
the
the
S
S in there.
All right, everyone. Let's go Team USA, man. You know?
I want it to happen. I'm going to be watching.
All right. I'm going to be up in Montreal. I'm excited to get up there. Check this place out. Say hello to the lovely French-Canadian folks. There's a hockey game Saturday. I'm going to be leaving Saturday. I'm going down to Pinehurst, so I'm not going to be there for Saturday. I think the Canadians are hosting a preseason game on Saturday. I would love to go too, but regardless, I'm going to be up in Montreal. I'm jacked up for it, so I'll see everybody out there. Say hi. Please check out our merchandise in the tent. I'm going to be in that tent for a while, taking pictures, letting you know which items I like, how they fit, sizings, what the material's like, whatever you want to know. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to have it for you, so I'm excited to get up there. And I'm going to be out all over that golf course. We're going to be out all over social this week covering this damn event. So Team USA against the international team. Let's go USA. Big thanks to our crew, as always. Alex Bush, our super producer. Brendan, our cave-dwelling video editors. Jared and Kyle. Big thanks to our sponsors. Let's go Team USA. That's all I got. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.